Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode uh, on finding strength in hard times. We are on the third episode right now. In the first two episodes, we were talking about, on the first one, we talked that when you are going through a hard time, the first way to find strength in the Lord is through having a heart of thanksgiving. When you begin to remember everything that God has done, automatically you begin to have a new level of faith for the things that he is going to do. Second thing we talked about last week is that the other way that you can find strength in the Lord in hard times is through praise. That praise is just not something that you just sing, but actions need to be put. Even as expression comes out of you, even as David said to him, he began to bless the Lord, oh my the Lord. And we talked about that praise is one of the keys that you got to find in times that you are going through when it's hard. So today we are going to look at one more thing, and this is a four-part series. And today we are going to look at the Word of God. Word of God. Romans 10 verses 17 says, faith comes from hearing the Word of God. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing the Word of God. Hearing the Word of God. When you are going through a hard time, you lose faith. How do you begin to gain faith is through hearing the Word of God. But just not hearing and just you can read through the Word of God just because you have to. And some people just wake up in the morning, just read through the Word of God and just go on thinking like it was a duty. But it is not this just reading the Word of God out of duty that gives you faith. That is, faith is been given when you read the Word of God. That is Rhema. That is Rhema, which means something that is relevant for your life right now. We see in Matthew, Gospel of Matthew, chapter 4, verses 4, we begin to see here, and Jesus says here clearly, when the enemy came and Satan came and tempted him, here he says that, and it is written, man does not live on bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. Proceeds. Note here, proceed means or comes means it's present continuous, which means that if you want to see life come to your life in a situation, when you go through a hard time, it is like a death situation. If you want to see life come into that place where death is kind of lingering and doubt is lingering and hopelessness is lingering, you need the Word of God that comes from His presence. And that is the promises of God. That is the things that God has spoken over your life. Sometimes it can be a prophetic word. It can be a word that you have gained while you're reading the word for the circumstance or situation you are in right now. Or maybe you have not read it now, but you have read it sometime before, but it has been lingering in your spirit. And each time that you face with this doubt, with this crisis, with this problem, you begin to just meditate on this word. Now, that meditation is not just reading it once and saying, man, it's good. Man, this is a good verse. This is a good word. And just close the Bible and go on with your life. That meditation is like you take it on once and you just don't stop thinking about it. As you go through the day, you begin to think about it, begin to repeat it, and you play a repeat button on your mind. And that is the kind of meditation we are talking about. You know, somebody said a cow has four stomachs, and four times whatever he eats needs to be digested. So you see that a cow will come and eat grass once, and then he will go and begin to chew on it several times, at least four times. Why? Because that digestion takes chewing. In the same way, sometimes when you have a promise of God, it is not enough to just once look at it and forget about it. You need to take and chew on it, which means you got to meditate on it day in, day out. Take it in the bus, write it down, put it in your wallet, put it on your phone as a screensaver. Begin to just keep repeating to Put it out as your Facebook status, WhatsApp status. Begin to look at it and begin to declare it and meditate on it over and over again until you see His life through the Word of God come into the situation that you are in. So, the third way of really receiving strength from the Lord is through the Word of God. This is it. There is nothing else. And through remembering all the prophetic words that God has spoken to you. Because whatever He has spoken to you are good things. And this trying situation, hard time might be there for just a moment. But it is going to go away and you're going to have victory. But to go through this, you may need that strength, and you will need that strength, and you need that strength. How do you gain it? By meditating on the Word of God so that faith will rise, doubt will die, and you will begin to have His life, that is abundant life, begin to give life into your situation. Okay, I remember when I was going through a hard time, I had this back pain, severe back pains. Then I had gone to many doctors. No solution at all. No solution at all. And I was wondering, God, will I get out of this at all? But I was having these doubts and frustration and depression that was lingering. And I remember my senior pastor's wife, Pastor Melanie, brought this word confession book and she gave it to me. And I was like, why is she giving this to me? And I began to see that all of those scriptures had to do with healing. And I started reading that. Over and over again, morning and evening. I started reading twice a day. I kept reading it. I had this back pain for like over 4 years. But as I kept reading this, and as I got the back pain, I remembered these scriptures and I began to declare, God, by the stripes of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, I am healed. Sickness is not my portion. Healing is my portion. This is not my cup. Pain is not my cup, but healing is my cup. And as I begin to declare that and meditate on that prophetic promises and the promises that God has given through the Word of God, life began to flow in my backbone. Whatever the doctors could not sort out, I begin to walk in healing in 1 month. 1 month, ladies and gentlemen. What I'm trying to tell you is that you need to understand that the Word of God gives life in trying times, in hard times. And that is why you need to learn to meditate on His Word, for His Word will give life into whatever situation you are in. So if you're going through a hard time, here is one more challenge for you, the third challenge. First challenge was cultivating a heart of thanksgiving. Second challenge was learning to express your worship through praise. Third challenge for you is begin to be people of the Word. Begin to be a person of the Word. Whatever situation you are going through, there is a promise in here that can set you free. And as you begin to meditate on that, that life will begin to flow and you will find strength once again. So we have finished 3 parts. And once again, we are going to have one more week. And this series, Finding Strength in Hard Times, will be over. As you meet with this life group and to the discussion, if you are not in a life group, if you even receive this video, you can go through this discussion even in your home and begin to see as you discuss how to cultivate a life full of the Word of God that will release you to breakthrough. God bless you.